Hello. I might just need someone to say if you can hear me. As I forgot to plug my interface in. Hello. Oh no, you can hear me. I can hear myself. Good. Hello, Paul. Right, mate. How's it going? Well, there's an interesting question. All right. Technical. Can we still hear me? All right. Technical. Hello, Eunice. Can we still hear me? Sounds like it. Hello, Mother. Hello, Eunice. Sorry for the background echo. Hello, Nigel. Good evening. Welcome. What's that opening up on my screen?
Window. Your default change to yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Whoa, what's going on? Yes. Okay. Oh, you can still hear me in Bristol. Good. Thank you, Patrick. Right, I think it's calmed down now. It's just all gone a bit haywire. Tonight's question from Service. We hadn't really touched on this issue or question. Dude, what is wrong with you? Sorry, I think I accidentally pressed forward one too many times and it glitched. Rewind. Biggity, back off the bong. Okay, so back to this question, which is tonight's question from the Methodist Way of Life. We haven't really talked about creation or caring, environmental, climate change, stuff like that. So the question for tonight is, how are you caring for God's creation? And all being well, unless this blows my computer up, a video while we think.
Dualistic, dark and light, feeding the demon of our wide. Power in the narrative told, hatred's cancer takes its hold. It's all the same to you, our lies are not your truth. Day turns into night, and I have no need of light. They are one with you, one with you. When I'm sinking in this fire, and I have no need of light, I have one with you, and you will see this through. What to me is a liturgy, it's just their so-called obscenity. The stones you throw in litany just fuels the fire that's within me. It's all the same to you, our lies are not your truth. When day turns into night, and I have no need of light, they are one with you, one with you. When I'm sinking in this fire, and I have no need of right, I have one with you, and you will see this through.
Breakdown time.
I rail against injustice. I stand to ask why must this be? Pharisaic narrow truth, another nail to make you bleed.
Hello. Hello, Dave. Oh, you're right, my friend. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Paul. Oh, we have 2 Pauls. We're almost at an epistle of Paul's. Fantastic. We just need one of the Pauls to show up, but he's probably busy celebrating being a doctor. Hope you all right, both Pauls who are here. And yes, Wayne, this voice is my DJ voice. Oh, that's yes. Yes. Well, it's also strangely close to the voice for the Right Reverend Wright, right? Let's gather. Bong. As moon rises, the sun slips sight. Begins the ritual of this night. For those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest. Those treading the path that is left. Biggity back off the bong. From near and far, come as you are to this place and embrace this space as darker hue embraces you. Of water, spirit, earth and fire, confessing the sins of empire, we come with our wounds and desire. Bong. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home. For here, you, me, and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine. We'll be ready for Monday Night Bounce. 4, 3, 2, 1, bounce. This man's chair supplied by the Shepherd Circuit is very bouncy. Thank you, Dave. This is not related to anything at all, but look what I found. I was cleaning out my bag and I found that, my green Blue Peter badge. Yeah, unfortunately, the pin was sticking out. Yes, and I did feel a small prick. It really hurt. Yeah, ouch. But there we are. I wonder if, and it's not related to Compline or the Methodist Way of Life, but does anybody else have a Blue Peter badge? Is anybody one of those special people? Was it a gold one? They had a gold one. What did you get yours for? Maybe we should tell Reverend Dr. Roger Walton that this could be a whole extra line of questioning in the Methodist Way of Life. Blue Peter badges, what you have had and why. Discuss. Yeah. Well, no. I'm thinking of Bear Grylls. He wasn't on Blue Peter. That was Peter Duncan. But they're both into scouting, aren't they? And Bear Grylls is a Christian. Yes. I've just had a complete brain trump. Sorry. Hello, Rita. How has Monday been? However, Monday has been. The good news is it's been and nearly done. That's no reason not to write to your mother. One day I'll remember the joke about nearly done. But unless you are a Methodist minister from Northern Ireland or the island of Ireland, it is probably not okay to say, and also not as funny. So if Mr. Sean Adair joins us, we'll ask him if he knows of the story of Nearly Done. You're not late, Rita. No such thing as late. I hope Monday was all right. Stuff to be thankful for. Well, I managed to go for a nice walk. Having moved to the circuit and going, the Peak District is on my doorstep, and embracing the Peak District and gallivanting off. I think when I was my first year, I was trying to walk every day and have days off up mountains. It was great. I lost quite a bit of weight. and so bought a decent waterproof jacket. In the last year, I've done considerably less walking, and I can no longer fasten said waterproof jacket. So it was good just to get out. I'd try and walk a bit more in the hope that I can once more not only get into but also zip up my decent waterproof jacket. So thankfulness for being able to be outside of it today. That was good. So I wonder what you are thankful for today. But also maybe there's been bits, I'm sure there have for all of us in whatever way, that have done our Swedes in, that we've struggled with, that perhaps we haven't responded to as we would have wished we had. And so we don't need to beat ourselves up, metaphorically, obviously, or physically. We can offer that and receive God's grace and refreshing and forgiveness and cleansing and healing and all those things. So we can lay those things down as we say together, the principalities and will to power, the worms from within my own darkest hour. I confess all the regress and the regrets, the burdens and the fears, the lament and the tears. I lay them down. Amen. So we give thanks. And that's very nice, Sally. You're obviously in a different meeting to me then. That's very nice. Likewise, and also our other colleague who was in that meeting, it was good to be, open and part of forming a new team. It's good just to be real with each other. It was good. And to support each other as we share, openly, which is good. And I hope each of us, whether it's friends, family, trusted others, wherever those people might be, that we have those places just to be real. And maybe this is a place for that as well. Reading, yes. Go on, be from the New Testament. Be from the New Testament. Oh, you've had lunch with Ruby and Gary. Oh, my mum's dropping names. Oh, yes, I had lunch with the former vice president today. Very good. I hope they're all right. Does that mean Gary and Wayne made it off the beach before the tide came in last week? Wayne's here as well, so obviously so. Whether Wayne found where he parked his car before the tide came in is a different matter. Yes. So today is Monday. No New Testament. So tonight we are not reading from the Metal Bible. We shall be reading from the Canada donated BLI, where you know who donated this to me. Thank you, the person who did, especially as it may have Ken Riley's from Why Friday's sweat on it, pre-COVID, thank goodness. The Bible, What is Metal? So I think we're continuing a bit of the story of David and the Ark. Hey, you've had quite a lot of rain. So if it ever gets really bad, if you need an ark, I know a guy. That's a joke. But also, given the amount of flood warnings at places in the UK, not really a joking matter. So yet again, I repent of my flippancy. Obviously, as part of thinking about creation, maybe we do want to think about the places in this country and around the world that are affected increasingly with sort of more extreme patterns of weather, but we'll come on to that later. Hopefully I dug myself out of that hole of flippancy. So we're reading from 2 Samuel chapter 6, moving the ark to Jerusalem. So far, the ark has been the house of Obed, I can't remember the bit of his name, but him. And then David brings it into the city of David, his city. And here it is, where we pick up the story. But as the ark of the Lord entered the city of David, now, is this Michal, like Michal Hussein off of the radio, I guess, or Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked down from her window when she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord. She was filled with contempt for him. Knock, knock. Contemptuous cow. Moo! That's the sequel to the interrupting cow joke. Knock, knock. Interrupting cow. Moo! That fourth coffee of the day may not have been such a good idea. Anyway, so the daughter of Saul looks out the window when she sees David leaping and dancing before the Lord. She's filled with contempt for him. Yeah. So well, I mean what Mr. Jeff Lucas, not Matt Lucas, says about this in a minute. But yes, I wonder if you have felt looked upon with contempt by somebody at some point. Yes, I think I shared the other night. I've perhaps experienced a bit of that. I think there's at least one other person here who's been probably feels they're going through a bit of that, especially when we are just trying to, as best as we can, recognizing that we all sin and fall short of the glory of God, and that's why it's all about the cross and grace and forgiveness. That each of us, in our own way, are just trying to get through. Following God as best and Jesus as best we can, and worshiping and living that out in the way we can, and so yeah, it's grim when we're on the end of that. That's what I think. I think we could all empathise with that story. I just want to clarify that the fact that she was called Michelle was a woman, that did not, the gender of the person in the story did not prompt me to obviously randomly going to knock knock jokes about cows. I meant cows as in the animals, just because I got Ari the other day because he's got used to the interrupting cow joke. I introduced him to the condescending cow joke, and the word contempt made me think of condescending. Therefore, I launched into a joke without thinking it through again. And here we are with me digging myself out of a second hole in the first 5 minutes of Compline this evening. And Catherine's just joined. Catherine, will you vouch for me that I've got interrupting and condescending cow jokes on the brain because of what I did to Ari yesterday? And yeah. Oh, please God, stop the internet now. Please God, smite my Wi-Fi and make this stop for the sake of everybody. Amen. This is what Jeff Lucas says. It was a moment of danger familiar to those who have participated in more charismatic expressions of worship. The low-flying flag. I says I've been in countless services where banners were stacked at the front and people could use them to praise God. Sometimes this is beautiful. Other times it looked like the person was helping a plane to land. More than once I've been forced to duck because a huge flag almost took my eye out. It was during one of those low-flying flags. It's not funny if you've lost an eye to a low-flying flag in worship. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. It was one of those low-flying flag occasions that my attitude turned sour, and I inwardly grumbled that the enthusiastic banner twirler was just showing off, drawing attention to themselves whilst being a danger to others. But I would have been wrong to judge their enthusiasm. It was what God requires. As David danced with all his might, he spent himself in response to God. It's been suggested by some that the language used here literally means to separate the limbs. Commentators agree this dance would have involved whirling. The word used here only occurs in this passage of the Bible. Interesting. And if you look at the whirling kind of dervishes, that sort of spiritual exercise. Wow, yeah, it's a spiritual thing, absolutely. Never mind bouncing every night in Metal Compline. We should whirl, and they have to rethink swaying and introduce whirling. So whatever moves were involved, this was a wholehearted effort that probably exhausted David. Let's resist the temptation to judge others who worship more expressively than we do. As we'll see in tomorrow's reading, let's all participate, whatever our style. And if you like flag waving, be careful. Yeah, let's all participate. Whatever our style, including headbanging, circle pits, which are probably more dangerous than flag waving. If anybody's been to a metal gig, and there's a couple of videos of metal church worship happening on YouTube, and man, they are proper into a circle pit. Bashing into your brother or sister in the name of the Lord with a joyful noise. We just need to, as we've said repeatedly, respect and show grace each other as best we can, and when we get it wrong, as I often do, to seek forgiveness, usually from Catherine. You interrupted me with a moo, Catherine. That's brilliant. Genius. Yes. So anyway, to our question for this evening. How are you caring for God's creation? Which may seem like a massive question. How are we caring for all of creation? But maybe like that, I suppose, apocryphal story of the kid walking on the beach, chucking starfish that have got stranded on the beach, and picking them up and chucking them in. And this guy comes along and says, maybe a woman who said it, it might have been a girl on doing it on the beach, who knows? But this other person comes along and says, you're not going to save them all, why bother? And the child responds, yeah, but it meant the world to that starfish, the one I've just thrown. So maybe we kind of do what we can and trust that others will do their bit. So I wonder what bits we are doing. Please do type in below. Or feel free to just watch me enduring awkward silence. Awkward. I was impressed. My mum was telling me that they had, I think, someone where they are got like the recycling inspector around to help them understand recycling better, because they'd put something in the wrong bin and it meant the whole thing on the conveyor belt got chucked out. And it was cool because the group at the church there booked the person from the Veolia or whatever they're called to come and talk to the group to just explain what can and can't go in and why. So one of the ways we can care for creation is by educating ourselves. Growing flowers to attract bees. Yes, thank you, Mother. Well done. Start with ourselves. Yeah, opening our eyes to wonder. Yes. Yeah, no, thank you, Sally. And of course, yes, Catherine, your mum's pet magpie. So there is I suppose it would be, we'd describe it, this magpie has a disability in relation to other magpies. That's got a bit of a kind of a stunted wing, so it can't really fly, but it can run like the clappers and sort of hop itself up out of danger onto a branch. And Catherine's mum, in Care for Creation, has essentially adopted this magpie and feeds it all sorts of gourmet colouring delights, and then can be seen, having put out said colouring light, poised like a spring, waiting to pounce into the garden every time one of the neighbourhood cats comes round to get to the food put out for the magpie before the magpie. And it is the source of much weekly updates. I want to install a webcam by the feeder so we can get daily updates on Wendy's magpie. But also, I think Wendy, who has perhaps doesn't have the best mobility in the world, but could absolutely give Captain Tom a run for his money when there is a cat approaching her magpie. By goodness me, like the proverbial office shovel. It's fantastic. So thank you, Wendy, for caring for magpies as part of God's creation. What, Catherine? You today, we can't recycle croissants. We can't recycle croissants now. When could we recycle croissants? What? Have you been on that strong cheese again? What? Mauled by a cat. A croissant mauled by a cat. What? I'm lost. Explain that. Oh, Nigel, you're getting an electric car, part electric car. That's fantastic. Wow, good on you. Yeah, that is very impressive. Yeah, for those of us at St. Paul's, thanks to Mr. Neil Blackwell, and then with the idea and getting us to think, and then some very generous giving in response to caring to God's creation. At St. Paul's, we have solar panels on the roof, which is fantastic. I tell you, two of us in this room, three of us were involved climbing a ladder to bless these solar panels. I had to wave through the window at the gathered congregation as we sort of led them from outside through an act of worship and kind of wondering if they were responding through the window, happy to listen. Did they answer? Where are we now? Right, okay. But it was a bit slippy and a bit wet, and it was all good fun. And what's even better is that the money that generates or saves is going to support all we can. That's not blowing St. Paul's trumpet. That's just recognising somebody listening and watching who enabled that to happen by challenging us as a church to think about and care for God's creation and just how that was lived out as a church response. So love that. Oh, I see. Right. So somebody put croissants in the recycling bin when clearly croissants can't be recycled. Yes, got you. I was there. Sorry. It was obvious now you've said it, really. Oh, so yeah, it's school bin where it just gets all. Oh, yeah. Wow, David, 50.8 trees saved so far. That's amazing in just over a year. That's wonderful. Oh, what a way to view it. Trees saved. Ace. Love it. So it sounds like we're all in our own way trying to care for creation, which is good. And as Sally has said, actually, as we care for creation, whether it's recycling, electric cars, renewable energy, but actually taking the time in whatever way we can, whether it's just sitting outside and then listening to kind of nature, birds, bees. If that buzzing is right by your ear, maybe move slowly. Don't open your mouth for about a second just in case it's fung my tongue. So that's 18.54 tons of CO2 saved or not put in the air. Fantastic. Oh, so Nigel's church, you're working to be an eco church. Fantastic. No, you're right, Sally. Yep. When you're blessing solar panels on the roof, don't wear a skirt. I won't make that mistake again. What was I saying? Just that, as we engage with nature, that and that wonder, as Sally said, of God's creation, that is a motivating factor in us as we seek to care for it. And I think actually having gone for that walk, I probably then as clearing away from something and probably spend a bit more time washing out more carefully some of the recycling than perhaps I would have done before the walk. I still would have done it, but would have gone, there we are. But thought, no, this is important. I've just enjoyed being out there with some fresh air. We keep on keeping on, which is good. And if anybody wants to kind of think more about this, it's still relevant. There is a report on the Methodist Church website, www.methodist.org.uk. And that report is called Hope in God's Future. It's an ecumenical report by different Christian denominations, but it just helps us think again about our theology, our talk of God, and how our talk of God encompasses and informs our thinking and acting towards and care of creation, and how we are, this idea again from Tom Wright, N.T. Wright, that whenever we think about the end times, that it is heaven comes to earth, God's dwelling place is with humanity and creation on this earth. So actually, in the words of Maximus Ujar Flip from Gladiator, what we do in life echoes in eternity. So actually care of this creation and people, planet, animals, all of it is of eternal significance, and we can all play a part in that. And on that note, other things we want to pray for. I pray for people, and one person in particular who perhaps feels that they have been carrying a lot of stuff for quite a while, and maybe you don't realise until it creeps up on you that they may have a sense of release and burden lifted and peace and refreshment and just God reaffirming all the awesome bits about that they are who they are in God and what they bring to ministry because of God and who they are in God. And for Edna and for Dee and for Neil and for Theo and for, again, all those in local schools or maybe schools where you are, where staff particularly seem to be, dropping, it feels like, with slight increased frequency with COVID symptoms. Hello, Tom. I hope you haven't cared for creation and bought me a mouse, have you? No? Why have you got that look on your face? Are you wet? Ugh. Ugh. What are you doing? Tom was going through my bin, and he was trying to work out if I've put the recycling in the right bit. It's all paper. I know you want to sit on it, but please leave it in the bin. Thank you. Hello, Jane. Oh, that's cool, Patrick. So using the WhatsApp group at a church, filling out the Eco Church survey. A question a day. Oh, I like that. Ooh, I love it. And the fact that you're able to do it and respond to it even during sort of lockdown. Oh, that's very good. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, thank you, Leslie. Pray for those needing time out. Right. Thank you, Patrick. Oh, absolutely, my friend. Perhaps we all could just have a bit of a pause wherever we are and just remember Neil at 1 o'clock tomorrow, as that is Amy's funeral. Yeah. And just a chance to give thanks for all the lives that she has touched, but also to really hold Neil and pray that he would have a real sense, not just at 1 o'clock tomorrow, but as long as, and it's probably forever, but as long as he needs it, that he feels, he is being held by that cloud of witnesses until they see each other again. Absolutely. Amen. So let's offer our prayers, including those for God's creation, the people of it, whether they're being affected with more extreme weather patterns, because, including in this country, because of climate change, to those who perhaps feel that the jury's still out, that perhaps we might have open hearts and a sense that maybe it's better to act as if we need to do something serious for the sake of each other and future generations, rather than going, well, we might be able to get away with it. For all those who make a big splash, like David Attenborough and Greta Thunberg, but also each of us in our own way, doing our own thing. And just knowing that is part of, makes a difference to that bigger picture. So we offer all those prayers, and to the one in whom all people and all creation have their being. May your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. So I pray that you will have a blessed evening, that if you just need to switch off from it all, that is possible, that you gift yourself that and allow God to gift it to you as well, and know that you are in that with God and with all of us as we hold each other and continue to hold each other in prayer this night until we meet again. So let us send each other around the twist. May the peace of the all-parent be ours this night, and with all people, and yes, with all of creation, through us and the little things that we are able to do now and in the time that is still to come, because it is coming. Amen. Oh, premature swaying. Whoops. I'm about to say until until another night when I may have time to reconfigure the swaying as twirling, whirling, not twirling. Well, twirling and whirling, whatever, whatever boats your float, as long as it is facing away from each other and whilst wearing a mask. Let us, sisters and brothers. Oh dear, what is wrong? I've had too much coffee. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm having a complete Tommy Cooper moment. I'm sorry. Get a grip, man. Sisters and brothers, let us sway. Spoon jar, just spoon. It never gets old. Spoon jar, just spoon. Jar, spoon. Spoon jar, spoon. Spoon jar, spoon. Spoon jar, spoon. Jar, spoon. Jar, spoon. Jar, spoon. Spoon jar, spoon. Jar means Miss Anossa. Going to go and sit quietly in a corner and think about what I've done. Just as soon as I can find the end meeting button again. Careful, Catherine. You remind me of a dodgy 70s DJ. Yeah, careful, because we know how a few of them turned out. I'm not adding that implication. Tomorrow, pop pickers. Take care. Charity.